A new study from King's College London, released just this month, is shedding fresh light on how our daily diet may influence long term heart health. Researchers followed thousands of adults, not 258, thousands of adults over several years. See, I think this is a more powerful study. They followed these thousands of adults over several years and found that people who regularly consumed polyphenol rich foods, things like extra virgin olive oil, woohoo, nuts, berries, tea, oolong tea, green tea, as well as whole grains, actually had healthier blood pressure, better cholesterol levels, and a significantly lower predicted risk of cardiovascular disease. But what makes this study stand out is the way researchers measured polyphenol intake. You're going to love
Yep.
this, Dr. A. Instead of relying only on food questionnaires, they also used urinary biomarkers to objectively confirm what participants were actually eating. That, I think, gives this study a higher level of scientific confidence. But it's important to note that the study did not show that olive oil or polyphenols actually reverse plaque or cure heart disease. So important because there are a few social media memes that claim that oleocanthals in 90 days are going to actually completely reverse the plaque in your arteries. And what this study is saying, no, we're just saying it improves your health, it improves your risk factors. But it really does reinforce something that we have seen for a long time in Mediterranean style eating patterns for years, that foods rich in the polyphenols do appear to support healthier arteries and reduce long term cardiovascular risk. This latest research suggests that what we add to our plates each day may play a more powerful role in heart health than we actually realize. And this is what Dr. A has been talking about this entire first the Artery Report. And this is why you say that the youngsters, the kids of today, are going to be healthier in the future than even we are.
Oh, absolutely. Totally. The polyphenol concentration in extra virgin olive oil is key for its success.
Yeah.
And although there's no scientific evidence that it does reverse plaque, what it does, it mitigates inflammation at all levels. I mean, there are inflammatory substances like oleocanthal that represent, even non-steroidal anti-inflammatories in the way they work, and that's how they work. Their potency is incredible, and it helps endothelial function. It decreases the stiffness of the vessels. It
Mhm.
mitigates, the inflammation from all the substances that you're consuming. In my mind, I always envisioned this old Italian man carrying a little pail going up a hill with a cigarette in his mouth, and you're thinking, wow, he's 90 years old. He's been smoking
Yeah.
his entire life. Why is he still alive? In America, they don't get to that age. Well, the thing is that although he is smoking, he is mitigating his inflammation by consuming extra virgin olive oil. That's why he's walking and he still has a cigarette in his mouth. So when I get a patient that's resilient and does not want to quit smoking, what do I tell them? Drink plenty of olive oil. It's going to mitigate the inflammation. It's going to alleviate some of your aches and pains, and it's going to help promote good endothelial, function. And it'll, give you a little bit more longevity. But if they didn't smoke and they did the EVOO, of course, their life would be extended. It would be a better option.
I'm a firm believer in it, as you know. My dad literally had inflammation around his heart. He had fluid around his heart, around his lungs. Following a few weeks following a heart cath, he had gotten the COVID vaccines. He'd gotten, I think it was the pneumonia vaccine. The first he did them all, in a row, and his body was just going haywire. And his dietitian said, try this extra virgin olive oil. Make sure it's early harvest, hand picked, cold pressed, extra virgin olive oil, and go to this place, amforanueva.com/Marin. Call them and make sure you talk to Gilberto. We call him DSO now, or DSO Junior, his sidekick there, Eduardo. But they got my dad on this, and within a few weeks, his inflammation went down, and you could actually see the results clinically. Just recently, now fast forward a few years, my dad has been having shots of this oil every single day, this special olive oil every day. and he went and got a PET scan just last week. No ischemia in his heart. The stents, everything all clear. The doctor was like, "You literally have a better heart than 90% of my patients, even half your age. Like, you are doing amazing."
I
So
tell you,
I'm a firm
awesome.
believer.
Yeah, me too. I mean, thanks to you, Kim, 5 years ago, I think 4 or 5 years ago, that you got me on it for the arthritis in my hands, and my hands feel great. And
Yep.
yeah, I wake up limber in the morning. I don't have aches in my feet. And I just got my last methylation test and my biomarkers, and I'm 54, but I have a biological age of a 40-year-old. So
Ah,
it's
that's amazing.
I'm sure it's the olive oil plus all the other
Yep.
stuff I take, but and then watching my diet. I always recommend to my patients to, do intermittent fasting, eat only one meal a day, be well hydrated, make sure that they're walking and exercising regularly. They don't need to go and go to the gym for hours or run miles, nothing like that. Yeah, they have to have a normal level of activity without strenuous efforts so they don't hurt themselves. And that way they
Right.
extend their life, and then they also develop good collateral flow. I've realized that the patients that I've put stents in and opened up their arteries, tibial vessels, et cetera, that are on olive oil, their results last a lot longer and they're happier
Are you
patients. And yeah, and
serious?
I've got a lot of patients on there. I mean, I send a lot of patients to Eduardo and Gilberto, and the patients are happy. They're happy with the product. They're happy with the olive oil, and it's not every olive oil that's the same. I had a patient that was on olive oil for a whole year, and he says, "Yeah, I get the organic stuff," and he shows me a bottle from Costco, and I'm like, "No, no, no,
Yep.
no, those things
Oh,
are
and they
no
always
good."
say, "Oh, it's high quality. Oh, Costco gets
Right,
really
right.
high
And
quality." I
because it
was like,
says organic, And so you have to be looking at the concentration of polyphenols. You got to be between 200 to 500 milligrams per kilogram of weight of olive oil to have a good quality polyphenol. And the three main polyphenols that are important are, of course, the oleocanthal, the hydroxytyrosol, and the tyrosol. And
yeah,
those three, if they're present in high concentrations, they give you the benefits that you're looking for. So I always recommend my patients to buy them from my source because I consume it from there. And honestly, you can't find a better product. I'm sure there's other people out there buying the stuff and selling it. And I know Brian Johnson, the guru, the health guru slash ex owner of
wow.
PayPal. He looks like he's got a biomarker of an 18-year-old, and he's in his late 40s and looks great. He's trying to commercialize the olive oil, but he buys them in bottles, and they're stacked in the warehouse, and they're just sitting there
Yeah.
oxidizing.
And so it's really good. It's the good olive oil. They're white
Yes,
labeling it, I
it
believe.
is. It is. It
But
is
the
the good olive
problem
oil.
is, right? So it's the source, but then you hit the nail on the head on that one that, well, that's great. It is the great stuff, but it's just sitting in a warehouse waiting.
Oxidizing, oxidizing.
Yes,
So what I
that's the
what I
problem.
envision for our wellness center at SCGVS, the Eternigen Wellness Institute, is that we don't want to have the bottle sitting in our shelf. So we're going to have a an agreement, a collaboration between Hilberto's group and us, where we're going to have our patients get everything from them. So they're getting it fresh all the time because they bottle the olive
Yeah.
oil right there when they're ordered, and they're not sitting on the shelf, and they're turning over their product quickly. And that's what you want. You want to consume the stuff fresh. You don't want to buy something from a grocery store that's been sitting in a warehouse for 6 months to a year.
And what I love about what they do is they only deal with the small farmers, the small growers, and they teach them from the ground up, from the soil up, every aspect of the process to ensure that every step preserves the clinical quality of their olives. And I think that that's huge.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
That's why I think it works.
It does. I mean, it does. Totally does. And when I was in Bolivia just recently, my parents have had olive oil. Like I told my mother, and they got theirs from a Spanish source. And I tasted the olive oil, and it tasted so bland compared to the ones that I get from Amphora.
Mm, they
The
kick
ones
you in
from
the throat.
Amphora, they're spicy. They have that peppery taste, and that's where the polyphenols are. When you're
Yeah.
taking the olive oil and you feel that little kick, that's the polyphenols that are going to go in there and kick you into good health. Versus the ones that go smoothly down. I tell my patients, if it goes smoothly down, you'll have nice soft poops, but you're not going to have any benefit otherwise.
And I was just talking to DSO Junior, that's what we call him, Eduardo today, because we went in and picked up. And what I love about them, everything, it's in small quantities. So you always have to get in there and know when they're getting the highest of highest polyphenol counts in there. And they just had some come in, which I heard you got a shipment
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
So I went and picked up mine today. And he was saying there's our leg saver hotline, which looks like my team has answered. I don't know if you heard or saw that, but the phone pops up on my screen.
Oh, cool.
And there it is again. There we go. It's answered, but it rings right through like Saver Hotline. You can see it right up there. Always, always, always call. We're here 24/7 to help you. But Eduardo was saying that one of our patients who actually had called the hotline recently was watching one of our videos the other day, and we were talking about this olive oil as well. And so he called the store today right before I came in, and he gave him a few options, and he was trying to help him figure out which one he would like better. And I said, no, 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 no. Junior, it's not about which one they like better. You just give them the one that packs the highest punch. And he said, well, they're all over 400 count and there's no
That's
other
plenty.
that compares to it. Right. I
Right.
don't care how it tastes. I've gotten used to it. And even Gilberto, the gentleman who runs the whole place, we were going to be giving them a couple bottles to some chefs down at one of our favorite resorts.
Mhm.
And he says, don't give them the one with the highest, give them the one with the higher smoke point and the balance and the flavor, because they're all about that. And I was like, You don't understand that people get used to the flavor of the highest polyphenol, like your
Absolutely.
body, your taste, right? It's too bland for me. Sometimes the food is too bland for me if I have a bland olive oil. I love the grassiness of that olive oil. I love when it packs a punch.
Absolutely. I totally agree.